Hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
So first off, congratulations on your domination victory against runboiz.
Thank you.
appreciate it.
No problem. Now, I I'm going to assume you guys feel really good after the first two games. Now, the first game, I got to give you guys credit. It looked even better than last night. Did you guys actually have time before this series to kind of review the game and see what you needed to tighten up?
Yeah, I think again, like I stressed in the interview yesterday, and I'll just repeat it again that Tomb is a map we've been constantly working on. It's a good map to get better. We hopefully are continuously getting better. We all watched it. We didn't actually review it as a team. I think like I know I watched your VOD. I think Raven did. I think Axon did. I think the whole team did. So we all kind of saw what went down, and there were definitely a few funny moments that yesterday that didn't quite happen tonight, which is a good thing. No random Junkrats flying over their team into like the enemy boosters. So I think I runboiz is a pretty good team. So my take on it, to be honest, and I don't know what Raven thinks about it, but it's just that it doesn't seem like they practice it that much because I think that they made some like reasonable errors in their rotations, and
Mhm.
we were able to capitalize on it. And I don't think we like totally snowballed them, but we had a pretty good snowball, which is a lot of how you win too.
Yeah. Now, do you guys feel like there was anything to really change in that game since, like you said, you guys either all or most of you reviewed the game right before or for today as well, which means that you had back-to-back Tomb games in one day after the other. Do you feel like there's anything now to tighten up from this series in the Tomb match you had?
I mean, there's always stuff to tighten up, mostly rotation wise, communication wise. Other than that, I think overall we played it almost, like, I wouldn't say perfectly, but pretty close at least. Just small rotations that could be quicker, that would help out a lot. And that's pretty much it from what I could tell just from playing.
Yeah,
Yeah, like for game one, like I don't think like any of us has ever been like completely 100% satisfied and happy with
mhm.
like any game, even if we won it, because there's things we could do better. But just to echo what Raven said, is I think that we played game one pretty well. Like I was very pleased with it. We prevented them from turning in too many gems. We rotated away to camps when they were like free to take, and then we used that pressure to either turn in ourselves or go for kills. We were able to kill a lot of their gems off.
Yep.
We pushed what we could, and like it wasn't like like oh we just like slaughtered them in team fights. They got a lot of kills too because they're a good team. So, but like as far as the how we want to play as a team, it definitely was clicking in game one.
Yeah. Now, how do you guys feel about so what I found interesting about Run Boys is how they do their bans. A lot of people do traditional like these are meta pick bans and that's kind of like the end of the story. But it was definitely different compared to most games I've casted where they focused almost extensively or almost exclusively on really taking out the tanks very early in the game to kind of force you of either you pick up this hero or we'll pick alongside of like getting the tier S tank simultaneously.
Well, I think of all the heroes in the meta right now. I don't think choking tanks is a good idea.
Mhm.
I think Diablo is largely the best tank, and a lot of it has to do with his synergy. It's not even that he himself is so strong. It's that heroes that are really good against him are not meta, like a Tychus, for example,
Yep.
and heroes that are really good with him, like Phoenix, are. So it's more that he's an enabler for a lot of comps. The other tanks, to me, all seem decent, but like not like I'm Meriden is probably my best tank and the one I enjoy playing the most, but I don't think he's like super strong. I think Garrosh is just as good as him. I think Joe on some maps is just as strong. I think each C has a role to play. Like so in my opinion, choking out tanks is kind of like not the right approach in the meta right now because
Mhm.
even though Diablo is maybe a little bit better than the rest, is they're all like pretty even right now. There's the only tank I think is like bad is Arthas solo tank right now, and that's a more reflection that like a lot of the melee assassins where he's really good against them are
Mhm.
not in meta. So that's pretty much the only tank I don't think I would play right now.
Okay, that's fair. Now, Did you guys feel like you got all the picks you wanted in game one, or was it kind of like you said, you feel Diablo is the best tank in part due to the synergy he provides, and you guys did pick up the Phoenix alongside of the Blaze, and they did deny that Diablo. So, did you feel overall that that draft was really what you wanted if you could draft everything again?
Yeah. Oh,
For our
agree.
hero duels, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Besides the Diablo, of course, since they
Yeah.
first picked it.
I mean, the truth is, like, I mean, it's not a surprise. It's like they picked Diablo. Like one of our comps that we would run, and this isn't like revealing any of our strategy. This is
Mhm.
very like well known stuff. It's just Diablo Phoenix as the 1/2. Like Diablo's very strong on Tomb. You have a lot of good angles on wall bangs. It's really easy to rotate between two lanes to get max souls. Phoenix is really strong wave clear, and they synergize together. So and also they both happen to be very powerful heroes. So like that's a very common 1/2 at the moment. And that's what we would have liked. And as soon as they take Diablo, we realize that giving that is giving them too much power, so we have to take Phoenix. And then we think, well, as far as solo laners, Blaze is the best against Phoenix because if he salvos, you just hop in the bunker. He's also incredibly strong on the map, because A, he can deny turn-ins really easily with his oil slick and light it up, and B, he has really strong wave clear, and wave clear here is really important there. So, like, the draft kind of played itself where they take Diablo because he's strong, so we took Phoenix because he's really good with Diablo. He's also really good overall, and Blaze because he's really good on the map and he good against Phoenix. So basically, in my opinion, we got like the early drafting should be very formulaic for a lot of teams, and then like the last, always like the 4 and 5 should be like catering to your team's strengths or like something you're going for. So just to echo what Raven was saying, for our team, I think we got what we wanted. Yeah.
Awesome. So game two, how do you guys feel about the game? Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but you guys obviously still won it. Do you feel there were more mistakes in comparison, or they just played it better to Run Boys?
I'd say mostly more mistakes. They definitely played it well overall, using their CC to get picks. But overall, I think it was just small communication and positioning mistakes that kind of got us behind a bit. If we were behind, I think.
I think we were like a little bit ahead, and then like we had some throw. Like it was honestly, it was a pretty close game. It was like they. I know they play shrines a lot, and most teams like Raven was making the joke that like everyone's playing shrines, and as a team, we all like the map. Like it's a well-designed map, but like
it's not a joke. I'm tired of the map. Stop picking it, please. I don't want to play this shit anymore.
Yeah, but like we don't. Shrines is like I think at least half the team's favorite map, if not like 75%. Like we'll play it. It's not like we'll ever ban it, but like everyone else really loves shrines, and it's pretty clear like their level of play is much higher on shrines. Like they're good on that. Like that was like Run Boys when they're good, are good, and like that's what you saw I think on shrines. Yep. So yeah, it's just to echo kind of, and I think. I mean, it ended up being like a 19-19 fight where we dinged 20 in the middle of the fight, or like just as it was unfolding, which wasn't even a fight we particularly wanted. It just so happened that, and then of course, like we had a few macro mistake where there's a huge fight on top shrine, and if we macroed a little bit differently, we would have been able to get the keep without me having to throw away 100 souls and stuff. So like it was a much closer game, That's all.
Now, obviously, there was that key moment when they tried to kill Raven. What were the comms like at that point? And did you actually expect to make it out of there alive, Raven?
I expected to make it out alive.
Play 20. What are you doing? Get away! Use your ult.
I was expecting to make it out alive until I was half health without my ult. That's when it hit. I was like, ah, shit, I'm dead. Fuck, what am I gonna do? Now apparently we hit 20 like in the middle of that, and Raider apparently snap blocked the regrowth heal or something. He automatically instant heal for my missing health or whatever.
Yep. 10% of their missing health instant heal life bloom.
Yeah, so apparently he knew I was gonna live. I didn't. I was just randomly using my abilities to get my heal off autos.
Yeah, like to be completely honest, the comms were this. Okay, guys, we're 19.9 to 19.1. Like, just play safe. We have, we can easily get mid wave and then top wave for 20, and then this is our game. Raven's like, okay, got it. Oh, they're on me. Oh, let's go save Raven. Pop your ult, pop your ult. Okay, and then all of a sudden we got I think there was a really big salvo as well that I
Yeah.
think hit their entire team. So it was like it was kind of, and they kind of dove towers a little bit. Like I think even if Raven goes down, which I'm shocked he didn't, I think we still clean up, which is good. But it was like ambitious on their part, and I don't think bad. It is hard to kill a Urel though, I guess you saw. But so it was definitely a good try by them, but it wasn't exactly.
Personally, I think
go for it.
As soon as I pop my ult, I expect most teams to back off and accept that as a win. But I guess because we were almost 20, they felt desperate, and they just kept going, which was shocking.
Yeah.
Almost paid off.
It almost did. But like McNulty
They
was
also
saying,
didn't have a retreat point because that was our cattle lane. Like them getting caught there, like and us turning 20 in the fight. If they don't get the immediate kill on Urel, that's just 100% they lose the game because there's nowhere for them to fall back, and we can just chase forever with like my charging and stuff. So I think it was really ambitious on their part. Like I hesitate to say it was bad because I think in most cases they do kill Urel and then maybe they think they can win the fight even after committing a lot of resources for him. But it probably they probably made a mistake there, even if we didn't respond, even if we enabled them to make a mistake by not playing that perfectly either. So I mean, again, game 2 we were just way shaky than game 1, and they're a better team on Shrine, so it's not like a surprise.
that makes sense. Now, one pick that I wasn't quite sure of, why'd you guys go with the Malfurion over like White Mane, especially when their comp ultimately was showing that they're trying to burst someone down?
I have no clue. I thought White Mane was the pick, but I'm not
thought
the support. So
Yeah.
Raider said Malfurion was better here, and I trust him.
Okay.
That's 100% it. And I was like, oh, if they don't ban White Mane, we get it. And Raider was like, no, I think I'm going to go Malf. And I was like, wait, really? He's like, yeah, Malf is better here. So he said, okay. We, in general, like the supports, if Raider sees a support or when Bernie's filling in, if Bernie thinks there's a support that's better, we pretty much just listen.
Okay.
There's only a few cases where I like
Say for most of us, we let us play what we want, except Kroven. He has a limit of 4 heroes to his pool.
Yeah. Well, okay, so yeah, for drafting, I tell Kroven what to play. Other than that, people pretty much come up with the heroes they think are good.
Well, Kroven does play an excellent Kael'thas, and I think he makes the case that Kael'thas should be more meta by like the gravity lapses he lands, the amount of damage he puts out in the games. He's regularly at the top or near the top. In last game or on Infernal Shrines, he was at the top by almost 10k. So
yeah. Well, those are his 2 best maps. Like Tomb and Infernal are both really good Kael'thas maps.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing Kael'thas even before the most recent buff, which I think happened not this past patch, but the previous one, which raised his win rate as well. Kael, I think, is in a good spot. He's been like, it's funny. I used to play a lot of unranked and like a lot of like, I guess this is how I get silenced, but like a lot of noobs are like, oh my god, you got to ban Kael'thas, first pick him, and that's like meta from like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
And but what's funny is things tend to be cyclical, and I think Kael'thas is back to being good, and I don't think really strong players are picking him all that off like in year league or whatnot. Even though I do think he's in a really good spot, he has a lot going for him, not just the wave clear, some burst, a lot of AOE, of course, CC. He doesn't have mana problems, especially once you complete your mana, globe. He has the self shield, so he's like slightly better against dive, and Kroven, like that's definitely a Kroven hero. He plays Kael'thas particularly well. So when you combine the fact that it's like, Kael'thas maps with a guy that's really good at Kael'thas, and we're gonna get him because other teams aren't valuing him. It's really easy.
Yeah, I mean, and it works out for you guys as well, but as seen in both game 1 and game 2 with the DPS numbers he put up.
Mm-hmm.
So were you guys a little concerned at one point? I know Dahaka was in the bot lane pushing all the way up to the walls, and they had started to take the position on the top shrine, and you guys were retreating back because they were starting to get that better position. Were you concerned like he might just try to push it all the way in for that keep?
Yeah, so like that point we were 15. We started the shrine at 15.2, and they were dinging 16. Dahaka was clearly there until they were 16. He overlingered really far. And we just made the call of let's just force the shrine fight, like force the early burrow. And they didn't commit to it, so they gave us like a 20 dude advantage. And it went from let's just force the burrow and then back off, get 16 defend to okay, well we can win this. And we eventually got 16 because They came up, they burrowed, we backed off, we sent, I think, Phoenix mid to just lock up 16, and we came back and we got like a nice fight off of it. Yeah, I think it went like a 4-for-1 or something. So yeah, so I think if I was them, I think they either should have harder committed for bottom and just, I think if you hard commit for bottom, you can get a keep, and if you don't, wipe on the Punisher, you might be able to save your keep, which is a good trade. Or you just send you just commit to Haka earlier, because they let us get too far forward, so they like, and a lot of times like that's a trap like teams run into when you're only a little bit ahead in XP. Like they weren't even a full level. You can't guarantee having like the talent for the shrine. And when you give up too many dudes, you can't even take a shrine fight, even if you're ahead in XP. And like that's an error on Infernal Shrines I see all the time. So it's a way for a team that's a little bit behind. And at that point, we were a little bit behind. I would like to think that's because there was no countdown for the pause, which kind of messed us up on the mid shrine fight.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I mean, it's all good. It's all good. Because, but again, it was just a close game all the way through. But like at that point, they should have just gone for, they either should have just gone for an even talent tier fight and just said, all right, well, we're going to fight you because we don't want you to get all these guys, or backed off and just hard committed for bottom and just tried to trade keep for keep, or keep for maybe defending their keep. Those definitely would have been better than what they did. But
yeah. Now, I'm assuming you guys will go back and review, obviously, the second game. Are there any big things that you can remember that you would change in the game, aside from like some of the positioning?
Raven, what do you think?
I mean, I can't think of anything in particular besides like just that one mistake where we capped it early, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was just Coven doesn't know how to control his power.
I think if Coven just like had a chain bomb or something that spread to too many guys, we wanted to hold it. I mean, it's a clear case for holding it there, but it's not a big deal.
I mean, other than that, nothing in particular stands out.
Yeah. I think the one thing is I was like, our drafts were more ambitious yesterday. Part of it is because when we're playing with a sub, we have to mix and match hero pools. Our drafts were more vanilla today, but I think this is just like we played very meta without like pocket picks.
Okay.
And runboiz, they were playing with a sub. I've played with and against Corgi Booty a lot. Like he's on OSD, really nice guy, strong player, fun to play with. I'm glad that they were able to get him in so that we could play this match. But even if you get a really strong player, you typically perform worse with a sub because you just don't have the synergy.
Yes.
Unless the player is like so much better. And so I like, and we've played runboiz, like they were in Victoria's Secret last season. Like we know them quite well, and I think they're a pretty strong Storm team, and they were playing with a sub, so we definitely had the advantage. So I'm glad that we were able to translate into a 2-0 victory.
Yeah. So before we go, once again, I'd like to give you guys the floor to give any shout outs.
Raven, you want to do shout outs this time?
Shout out to that boy, that Cavalier guest, he's pretty dope. Nice the information that he feeds us, and our sponsor FWC eSports. Check out the Discord. We got lots of different games besides just HOTS if you're interested in other stuff. And
Fortnite.
Shout out to Coven for
come
having
on,
too much power.
Come on, you giving Coven the shout out. I'm gonna shout out Raider for saving you at the end there with this.
Oh yeah, that too.
Come on.
Yeah, Raider's a god. Raider is low key the best support in NGS, as every team says about their support. So.
But we actually mean it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I'm gonna just add a shout out. Is of course once again to you, Akuma. I know that you picked this up like last minute. It's really fun having the games casted. It makes it the NGS experience so much better. So I really am appreciative.
Oh, no problem. Like I said, match got forfeited, and I hate having to like essentially not do anything that I already had planned to use for casting. So might as well take a game for two teams that want to be casted, and hopefully it's useful for both of you.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of your night or your bed.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Night. All right, guys, that was FWC eSports that you just heard. We had McNulty, aka Bobo Fitos, and we have or had Flyest Raven as well in there. So hopefully you enjoyed that series. They came out looking pretty good, both teams. runboiz obviously struggled in the first game, but as you heard from McNulty, they were also playing with a sub. But overall, Corgi Booty looked pretty good, but obviously with a sub, it still changes the dynamics of the game. So runboiz should definitely be, hats tipped over to them because they definitely put up a good fight, especially in game 2. And so hopefully you all enjoyed the casting that's been brought to you this evening. Once again, runboiz didn't manage to take a game this evening. FWC eSports, they managed to take the 2-0. And if you don't know where you are, I recommend seeing a doctor because there's lots of ways to know who you're watching, like right down there. So if you enjoyed the Shoutcast, please hit follow. Maybe you love it, hit subscribe. I do actually have emotes. I have three separate emotes for the tiers that I did. There's also my Twitter down below, so you can see when I'm casting games. And finally, the VODs when I am not lazy and procrastinate to do them, because each of them takes about a half an hour or so of time to dedicate to doing a night of highlights, or taking a night of casting and turning them into highlights and sending them over to YouTube on top of that. But more importantly, come to more Shoutcasts. And I want to thank everyone who has come to the Shoutcast, not just once for one match, but come out to watch a game that may not even be relevant to them. If Storm Division games are not the division you play in and you're still watching, thank you so much. If you're coming back to watch because you love my casting, thank you so much. If you come to watch me suck at casting, well, I guess that's okay too. But hopefully you've all enjoyed the casting. If you have, one of the things that keeps me going and keeps me casting is actually the positive comments that I've gotten over the past few weeks. So it's kind of like I'm fueled by positivity instead of, I guess, even negativity might be okay if I got comments. But any feedback about the cast, I always appreciate, and makes my day even better. So thanks again to everyone for watching. We're going to hit up the highlight reel that I always do, and then I'll toss you over to, I don't know if there's anyone else casting, either another caster or someone else I personally watch from Heroes of the Storm, and probably will go watch before I head to bed. So thanks again, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your nights and take it easy.